Hello, it's Scott Manley here, and today I'm going to introduce you to a tool which you may find fabulously useful or completely useless, depending upon how OCD you are about the beauty of your rocket designs or the mass. So let's start with Clone Polo here. This is an example of a two-part lander where we have the landing module sitting below the actual command module, and you see that the game has put in these helpful fairings for us, and let's try and grab it. Yeah, you see that as we put this on, the game has created this nice little fairing to cover up the rocket motor, but because we go from a 2 meter part to a 1 meter part, we have this ugly looking gap. Similarly, when we go from this 2 meter to a 1 meter, we have this tiny fairing here, which covers up that, but doesn't cover up the rest of the lander. And of course, there's some part of your mind that's saying, hey, that's not aerodynamic. I need to fix that. Similarly, if we look around, there is other examples we can work with, such as the lander probe, which is, again, a very simple rocket, which will probably go to the moon. And on the top of that, there is a nice little probe with legs, which will land on surfaces. Again, looks great, not the most aerodynamic. And we have under R, I believe, we have the RTG ion, which looks even more interesting, where you have an array of 8 RTG units powering this little ion drive here. Totally looks non-aerodynamic. But there is a tool to the rescue here. There is something called Fairing Factory. So yes, Fairing Factory is a website for all of you with acute OCD regarding the looks of your rocket. You can use this to build outer shells to hide the contents of your rocket. It doesn't actually improve the aerodynamics in any way, but it does give you the warm feeling that your spacecraft actually looks the part. So for example, here's a 2 meter two-part shell. Let's just build this up. I'm gonna make it a little pointier because pointy is good. We'll just send that off. There we go. We'll click on download. We've created an object. Say we want to have a covering for our space probe that we showed. It's a little fatter, and we'll just bring it out just a little, and then now we'll bring it in. And we click on the spots and press X. There we go. That comes down, and maybe actually we can just blunt the nose just a little. So there we go, we get a nice kind of fat top there that lets us put a large probe into, for example, with solar panels and all that other paraphernalia that looks good. And yeah, we can split this down here actually, for example. This is where the objects get, actually, you know what, we can move this up here and not split at all. So let's send that. We'll send that out, download it, and it comes down. Another example would be, you know how you have the adapters that go from the 2 meter part to the 1 meter part? Well, maybe you want to set this one up to be actually useful. So we select these parts, X, we're going to kill these parts, right? What we want it to do is to come down, oh yeah, let's do that. We want it to come down to a 1 meter adapter, and we don't need anything above this, so we just drag the line down to cut there. Actually, yeah, we'll make it cut here, and the reason is we're going to make this compatible with the. There you go. Let's do that. We're going to make this compatible with the small tank, so we can actually have this sitting near the top of our rocket, and it'll look, you know, kind of cool. Or if you remember the vintage Gothic rocket or whatever that's sitting, it was a video that I made of a sculpture that sits on the Embarcadero waterfront. You can try to make like a big, fat, curved Tintin style of rocket here, just by expanding these things out a little. And we need to make it slightly longer. So what I'm going to do is have it go to there. We're going to make sure that that's where the curve goes to, and then we'll have it curve inwards from there. Yeah, let's actually set the curve up here. We'll make it curve so that the top hits here. We're cutting it in a strategic location, that's the idea, because we know where these reference points are. Let's just try and make sure there's enough points here to make that work. That looks relatively uncrappy. Let's do that. And then we'll create the opposite side, right, where we have the reverse happening. We have it going from a 2 meter down to a 1 meter part. So we're going to curve this in slowly. Let's pick these up most carefully, and we'll have it coming. We're going to make it a little shorter at the front, right? But we need this to come to roughly where the 1 meter part is, and then we'll actually have the real capsule sitting up there. Actually, you know, we can just make a straight up nose cone on this. Yeah, that looks relatively uncrappy. And so we can put the real rocket inside it. So let's do that. So that's just got a bunch of fairings. Let's try these things out to see how they look. Oh no, there was one more that I wanted to do. The one more was, imagine you have a 2 meter, an Apollo style lander. We want to basically make it a little fat around where the lander sits. So we basically are going to drag these sides out, I guess. We're not going to have it come to a point because we need it to just hook up with the rest of the rocket. So if we take these and put them exactly on the 1 meter part and stick this out here, that looks pretty good. So that way we should be able to have a slightly fatter section in the middle of our rocket, and it'll be compatible with everything on out there. So download that. That's our rocket coming down. Okay. Anything else that I can think of? I think I'm losing. Oh yeah, of course. This being what it is, it has a very low time to penis. So, you know, you can, of course, do the ridiculous things. You can make it, let's do 1 meter. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you can do like crazy looking stuff if you like. There we go. Have it nice up the middle there. Yeah. Actually, let's do this. Let's be really embarrassing. Ah! Controls are not exactly what I'd like. Not perfect. Yeah, you can do, you know, very suggestive phallic objects if that's your thing. And I mean, you know, we're starting with rockets, so it's not exactly it's not exactly rocket science to make a rocket that looks a little like a certain male appendage. There we go. Utterly useless, but worthy of comment, let's say. Yeah, let's make this a little fatter down here. I'm not sure what kind of spaceship would fit into this, but I'm willing to try and figure out what. Let's send that, and then let's see what we can actually build with it. I hope I downloaded that other one. Okay, so we're back in the assembly building. Let us find some examples. Well, we had the Biggles probe, I believe. Now this one, of course, needed room for its giant solar panels on the side. So what we can do is we unhook this underneath. We go to the structural section. We start adding our 1 meter base, and then we need to find something that will contain this probe, and that was the one I think we chose for. Look at that. Kind of gets wider and has just enough room. I totally guessed that right. That was a fluke, actually, and I'm pushing the wrong button to rotate it. Why can't I find the right button? There we go. So now that will sit there on top of my giant rocket, and yeah, it does look a little like an RPG. So the important thing, I guess, to add is to make sure that you've got the staging right on these. Where? Okay, so the staging's down there. So what we want to do is add the staging section here, so that these go prior to the deployment. And again, if we try launching this, you know, we can see what happens. We'll just launch it off the pad and then jettison this. It's a nighttime launch. Here we go. Now the fairings don't actually help you in terms of aerodynamics. They're entirely about looking good. Here we go. Let's try jettisoning them. There we go. Nice. So normally, of course, that would stay on until we got into orbit, but that works for us. Let's see if the other things we have picked will do their job. Let's load up the Clone Polo. Where is Clone Polo? It's under K, obviously. So remember, we wanted to hide that ugly capsule from view until we're ready. So what we can do is, well, how do we do this? Well, we need to actually stick the... So first thing is we get rid of that giant decoupler. Instead, we're going to stick in a smaller decoupler. There we go, smaller decoupler. And then below that, so now the smaller decoupler only covers the engine, as before. We're going to try and put that on there, but we need the 2 meter plate. Here's the 2 meter base, that goes on there. And then the spaceship attaches underneath. So that's not actually the one we're going to use. We're going to use this, yes. So there, look at that. It's going to work just fine. Attach that there. Kind of cool. And then here's the rounded one on top. And you see it butts up nicely against it. The capsule sits inside there. So of course we repeat the same on the other side, and it's the roll keys I'm pushing here. Got to remember to do that right this time. There we go. Roll, get in position. Nice, see that? And again, yeah, the only thing you need to be careful about is make sure your staging works properly. So now we have a much, well, okay, it looks kind of weird, but at least you don't have all those ugly non-aerodynamic features sticking out, right? Now it's all sleek and aerodynamic. What else do we have? Well, we have the lander, for example. We have a landing probe under L, I guess, lander probe. Now this one is a much smaller, a bit of fairing structure. We just really need a little thing on the top there. It's not it's not actually wider than the fairing, so we can just put that in there. And do we have like a bullet-shaped segment? There we go. Nice fairing. Oh, let's get plenty of room for this one. It's just like a bullet at the top. There, now that looks, well, okay, it's not perfect. You can see the feet just sticking out there. I wonder if that will work. Let's see what happens. If I fire this and the thing blows up, then there might be a problem with the design. Ready? Ah, no problem. Cool. So that'll work. Let's go back to the Space Center. No, let's go back to the Vehicle Assembly Building. And the other thing that we talked about doing was demonstrating how we could have an upper stage mated to, or a 1 meter stage mated to a 2 meter stage without the ugly adapter, or without the completely useless adapter. You see, normally you would do this, and then you would stick on one of your adapters or your decouplers, and then you would have this utterly useless thing adding mass to your spacecraft before you'd have your lower stages. Well, now you can make the whole thing active. You can make the whole thing work together. We'll stick this on, stick this here, and then let's go and find the relevant. There we go. Oh wait, of course I got to stick on my adapter plate. How much is the adapter plate? Oh yes, what a brilliant idea. My adapter plate actually weighs more. So yeah, that's utterly pointless. So much for the best laid plans, etc., etc. And I can't pick this darn thing up again. Ah, there we go. Oh, it's picking up now. There, you see, it looks better, kinda, but it weighs more, so that's a little, well, that's embarrassing. I should have probably looked at the masses of these things before I ordered the parts. You know, doesn't that happen though in real life? Wasn't there a case where they had to cut like ½ an inch off the heat shield or something to fit onto some space capsule because, you know, 3 different manufacturers were involved? What else do we have that we can attach to this? We have ion powered probe, 20 probe, sun lamp. No, it's not a sun lamp. Solar, oh yeah, the RTG ion. So how does this work? Oh yeah, we needed something that would fit that in. I don't know if I built anything for that. I think this is not going to work. No, we're going to need something really ugly for this. Yeah, that's not such a good idea. I should have maybe thought, look, maybe that could fit. We might actually have a legitimate use here, look. Oh, dear. And it doesn't want to grab. Okay, well, I completely forgot to actually build an adapter for that. So much for my grand plan. Oh, maybe, oh, that might work. Look, I just need to move the fairing section further back. Let's stick this on, do we have like a girder or something? Girder. Maybe this is going to be too long. That's probably going to be too long. Modular girder segment. There. And then we need to put our adapter plate. Oh, the lengths I'm going to. As I said, this is really something for the OCD out there. The people that really want their rockets to not look butt ugly and non-aerodynamic. That's pretty good. Wow, I saved. Saved by some random one that had sitting around. There, look! That one really looks bizarre. Oh dear. Let's put this down here. Down here. This isn't going to go very far. This does have an engine on it. Yeah, let's launch it and see how far it goes. Clear the launch pad and proceed to space. Now, yeah, I mean, real space probes tend to be built a little less bizarre than this. Yeah, this will go up, and let's time accelerate into space. Oh yeah, look at these. I'm glad these wings are here, because otherwise I'd be totally unable to steer this sucker. It's kind of sensitive. There we go. Oh! And maybe now's the time to go reduce my time acceleration to something manageable. So look, now I'm 20 kilometers up. Now is the time to ditch my canopy and reveal the full power of this nuclear-powered space probe. Except that it's probably not going to actually get into orbit based on the fact that I'm only moving at 1.2 kilometers per second. I'm about to burn out. Well, nonetheless, there we go. Oh, no, it can't quite light its engine 100%. Ah, there we go. Still flickering just but a bit. Yeah, this is doomed. It's doomed, I tell you. There's no escape from the gravity of Kerbal this time. Kinda cool nonetheless. Yeah, speed just dropping down. It's gonna crash. Anyway, let's end flight. What else did we have that we could demonstrate from this wonderful cornucopia of adapters? I don't know what I could fit into that. I need to design a space probe that fits into the penis probe cowling. Maybe I should have a competition to see who can build the space probe that needs that cowling. Oh yeah, I was going to do a Tintin style rocket, right? Let's do a Tintin rocket. Cancel. New. So the only problem with doing a Tintin style rocket is that the adapter plate doesn't pass through fuel. It is one of the few parts of the game that does not allow fuel to pass through it. So yeah, we'll just stick this in here and have a rocket, and maybe another rocket. I don't know how long this is going to be, but then we stick our adapter plate on, right? And I guess what we need is a tiny fuel tank that I'll affix to the side. So there's going to be a gunning plan I have to ensure that fuel is fed to this engine. There's the engine. So we need to project fuel sideways and then down to the fuel line. And that will mean fixing this to the side. So structural. Looking for one of these. Do it symmetrical around the bottom. Actually, yeah, if I stick it up here, that might work better. And now get that tiny fuel tank, rotate it, stick it on the side. There, and now we're going to take fuel from here into here, and then the fuel goes from here into the engines. So now we're going to feed our engines despite the fact that no fuel will pass through this part. And that is how I avoid actually having to go back and modify the save the parts file. Oh, crap. Clicked on the screen. Clicked on another window. There we go. That's looking the part, huh? Look, it's like a fat... It's like a fat rocket, huh? There we go, huh? That is styling, I tell you. Completely impractical, but, you know, it's styling. And sometimes that's all that matters. Sometimes the victory is in having the best looking spacecraft out there. Look! Remember the rocket in Tintin, right? So what we need is some steery things. I guess these will work. I can use steering wings. 3 of the... Oh, I'll do 4, right? I think the original Tintin rocket is 3, but I am on it. I don't want one of these things to hit that. Okay, so 3 of these, and then little. We'll do little flaps at the bottom. This is probably going to crash because the flaps don't actually help. No, that's not going to work. Never mind. What happens if I do these? Nope. Nope. There. Turn this. Now it looks like a Tintin rocket, right? How about that, huh? Okay, we're gonna fly this to space. I have no idea how, but we're gonna do it. And obviously my staging is all kind of weird. I'm gonna fire the whole shell at the same time. Launch! Now head to space as quick as the rocket shall carry you. Let's see if this works. Yeah, look! It like totally looks like a 1940s design of a rocket, right? Maybe a little fatter than we'd otherwise like. I'm not sure how those things are going to help me with the steering, as in, they're completely not going to help me with the steering. But it's all about the look. Maybe it looks more like a Fat Man, the nuclear bomb or whatever. It's a nuclear-powered rocket! It's going... Oh, what is that? Is that some debris from my previous launch? Oh, well, they're gone now. That's a shame. I really want, you know, things to fall through the atmosphere with the same physics. I know they don't want to do that, but, you know, it would be nice. Come on. Okay, now I'm actually having a seriously hard time turning this thing. It's like totally uncontrollable. Oh dear. Maybe it's time. I'm almost out of fuel as well. Yeah, this one isn't going to the moon. The original Tintin rocket in the comic books, they went directly to the moon in a single stage. It was kind of amusing. Yeah, look at that, huh? Oh my god! It's 3D! Ah! Wow. Yeah. And then this thing can shoot off for a little extra speed. Oh yeah, he's got no parachute though. Well, so much for that. Let's see where he's gonna land. Maybe this is time to quit. Okay, he's gonna land in the ocean. And so with Jeb flying on a suborbital trajectory towards the ocean with no parachutes, it's time for me to say, fly safe.